I remember about 1 year ago when I was 14 years old, I was in a car looking out the window when suddenly I get a hit of fear on my chest. I was gonna attend Hamza Ahmed's Adonis School meetup, and I'm actually gonna be talking to people who prioritize their lives. People who are gonna be making hundreds of dollars per month, thousands of dollars per month, tens of thousands of dollars per month, even $200,000 per month. And I didn't want to leave a bad impression, so I decided to close my eyes and I began visualizing what I'll actually do there. I thought that, oh, I'll come and shake their hand, I'll smile, I'll ask them this question, and after that question, we'll start just flowing in the conversation. And as soon as I visualized that, I opened my eyes and I felt almost like a sense of relief in going into this interaction. And when I arrived to the meetup, which was in this kind of lounge looking, kind of like a bar looking area, I saw a guy locking his bike up on the side. So I decided to speak to him, shake his hand, ask him for his name, just kind of have a little conversation. But after that, I was kind of scared to actually speak to these people. I was a little bit afraid that I was going to mess up or something. So I just kind of stayed with my parents and spoke to them for a while. But looking back now, I'm so grateful that my parents actually encouraged me to actually go speak to other people instead of just kind of staying with them. I remember they were just telling me, go speak to them, you're never going to get this chance again, whatever. So I decided to actually go up, muster up a little bit of confidence and just go up and speak to people. As I was walking to a crowd of people, I felt almost excited about the lessons that I'll be able to learn and the people that I'll be able to meet. So I walk in and I'm not going to lie to you, my palms were literally sweating on how much fear I had. But I was looking for someone like alone so I could speak to them, so I was like interrupting a conversation. I spotted one and I went up to them and I put my plan into action. I shook their hand, I asked them for their name, I smiled at them, and then I asked them like a few other questions to just get the conversation flowing. And thankfully for the first guy, the conversation just flowed perfectly. Same for the second and then for the third. And then eventually the actual like lecture started. After the lecture ended, we had like about 2 hours to actually just like socialize and speak to other people and network. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it was so fun. I was having back-to-back interesting conversations, funny conversations. And there was even this guy who was giving some amazing advice about girls. And after about 2 hours when we left, we were walking down this almost street and the sun was going down. I was just thinking to myself that how much I've improved my charisma and my social skills compared to my 12-year-old self who would have probably not even spoken to anyone and would have not learned as much or had as much fun as I did. And the lesson that really got ingrained into me that day was that when you actually have good social skills and you know how to actually speak to people, you actually have way more fun than if you're just kind of sitting there alone and don't really speak to people and don't know how to speak to people. For example, think about it this way: you have life experiences and lessons that I can learn from and vice versa. Because imagine missing out on such a valuable lesson just because you didn't speak to that one guy because you were too shy. I know this is kind of like a little bit extreme, like not speaking to people because you're too shy, but that's kind of what I used to be. Also, imagine every single time you're in a social gathering, minutes just fly by because you're having so much fun instead of sitting alone in the corner where minutes just feels like hours and it's just getting dragged on. Because I remember just about 3 years ago when I was 12 years old, I didn't know any of these like tactics on influence, on how to win friends and influence people from the books that I've read, from the videos that I've watched. And I used to do this cringe thing that I don't know why, but I try to be like this mysterious, serious guy. But then year 8 came around and our classes got changed. And by this point, I was like learning a lot more about self-improvement and social skills. But also, my class was filled with people that I know and people that I've made jokes with. So it just gave me that winner effect. And eventually, I just became more confident every single day. Near the end of that year, that's when I got the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And when I read that book, it changed my entire life. Literally from there. I know so many people say like, oh, this changed my life, but it literally did. I'm not gonna lie to you, one of the main things that I did with that book was just kind of get myself out of the tensions, but it made my social skills so much better. And a good way you can think about this, it's almost like a skill in a video game where the more experienced and the better you are, you're gonna be more confident at that one certain area. And just like in a video game, there is 20% of tactics that you can use to get 80% of the results. And it's the same thing with charisma, just like in a video game. And just like I said earlier about my year 7 cringe self who used to try and act all serious and mysterious, I'm not gonna lie to you, back then people didn't really enjoy, like now that I look back, obviously at that time I didn't really think much about this charisma and all that, this kind of stuff, but now that I look back, people didn't really seem that happy to speak to me. And especially girls, they didn't really seem that interested, or if any, I didn't really speak to many. And fast forward now, people are actually smiling back at me, enjoying the conversations. I'm making them laugh, they're making me laugh, and we're just having an amazing conversation. Especially with girls, they actually smile back at me compared to my old self who, first of all, barely spoke to girls. And second of all, when he did, the interaction weren't even that good. And you want to know the most simple tactic, the best tactic that I've learned so far to literally get anyone in a positive mood to just instantly, like literally buff your charisma to like 50% literally just by doing one simple thing. And literally just smiling. I know it sounds basic and kind of stupid, but most people kind of don't really even do it correctly. Like most people do kind of this fake smile when they see people. Like what I do, and this is like a tactic that I'm going to give you like a bonus that I actually didn't write down, but it just came to my mind, is like whenever you see someone, just think of something funny, or just think about them and think of a time that they made you laugh, or just think about something that makes you smile. So whenever they come up to you, say, oh yeah, hey. like almost like that, where you squint your eyes. The reason a smile is so good is because it just gives a non-verbal way of saying I like you, or just like a positive environment. And obviously I'm not just walking around showing my teeth like this all the time. Obviously I'm just kind of doing like a little smirk, kind of like that, just keeping up speaking with a smile on my face, just kind of creating that good positive vibe. I remember this one time I was like with this girl, and she seemed kind of bored because I wasn't really speaking to her, because I didn't really know her that well. So I decided to actually start speaking to her. And when I did that, I like asked her just a basic question with a little smirk on my face, and then she replied with a little smirk on his face as well. And then after that, the conversation just flowed even better because we were both in a positive mood. And this is written so well in the book How to Win Friends and Influence People. And the quote is, you must have a good time meeting people if you expect them to have a good time meeting you. Because every single day when I walk into tutor, I always smile at my friends who sit next to me and behind me, and they always are in a positive mood because of that. But I remember during my academic time of school, I remember there was one particular time in the beginning of year 8 where my charisma skyrocketed. And that was because I remember on the first day of year 8, we walked into tutor, me and my friend, and we saw the seating plan. We realized we sat next to each other. And when we got our timetable to show what classes we got, me and him were in the same class. So that was pretty nice. But then after that, when we walked to our first class, slowly but surely people started showing up. But not just any people, most of our friends. And not only any of our friends, the more confident, funny, charismatic guys. And so many of them showed up. And I remember that first session was so fun to just be around. Same with the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth. And after a few months, a few years, I started picking up on these subtle things that make these guys funny, charismatic, just interesting in general. And I decided to copy them, but with my own kind of like twist on it, so it isn't like fully a copy. And what I've realized from being on this like charismatic journey or self-improvement journey is that the literal simple best way to make progress in anything is if you just copy other people. For example, you could probably imagine a confident guy. There are probably a certain ways that he like does something, or just the way he speaks or the way he just walks, that makes him confident. So you can just copy that. That's what I did with my friends. The way like they said some certain phrases when the teachers told them off. I know that's so specific, but it just worked in school, and that may be one of them. Think about it this way. Imagine the video game Terraria. Like, if you don't know what that game is, basically like 2D Minecraft, but like a million times more complex. You have like hundreds of weapons, thousands of like crafting materials, you have so many different things. And the main goal of that game is to defeat this massive boss called the Moon Lord. And before all of that, this obviously is like other bosses and some mini bosses. And either you can go on your own, try and figure out what armor to get, what the best weapon, or you can just copy a guide that's on YouTube that will help you make progress 10 times faster than if you didn't. This is why copying is so effective, because you make so much more progress in such shorter amount of time. But during all of this time in year 8 and year 9, I was doing something that for people my age, it would seem abnormal. And I remember this one time I like woke up at 6 a.m, but I just didn't really want to do the work that I was supposed to. Like, I was supposed to script some videos, record some videos, but I'm not gonna lie to you, I just didn't really want to. I didn't feel like it. I knew I had to be disciplined, but I still didn't want to get out of bed. And then I literally just told myself that, you know what, I'm just gonna work for 10 minutes. I'm just gonna like script a video for 10 minutes. At least I'm gonna be making some progress. But obviously it's not like tricking my brain into thinking, oh, I have to do so much work that I just don't want to at all. So I take a cold shower, I dress myself, and I do the 10 minutes of work that I said I will. But before I knew it, 15 minutes go by, 30 minutes go by, 1 hour goes by, and I ended up scripting a video what felt like literally just a click of a finger. It felt so fast and it just felt so enjoyable. And that day I walked into school with such a massive amount of confidence, because I knew I actually did something before going to school. I knew that I actually had a reason to almost think myself better than other people. I know that kind of sounds like narcissistic and whatever, but it just gives you that confidence boost, because you almost need a reason to be confident. Because if you don't, let's just imagine this guy, he doesn't go to the gym, he doesn't do anything like any martial arts, anything, he doesn't do any work, he doesn't try to start a business, he doesn't read books, he's just playing video games, doing basically nothing. Then he's not really going to feel that confident, because he's going to see other guys who's doing martial arts, another guy who's doing the gym, another guy who has like a good physique because of the gym. He's going to be jealous, and he's going to kind of feel inferior because the other guys just look better than him, feel better than him, because they actually have a reason to be more confident. And it's really kind of to give you a new mindset, because you probably already go to the gym, you probably already kind of started busy, you're probably already reading and learning about like how to become a better person by like reading the 40 Laws of Power, or how to influence and influence people, or like Atomic Habits, or any of those kind of books. You're probably already learning. So this is kind of like a new mindset that I've figured out that kind of just gives you that extra confidence boost. Because instead of you just go to the gym and not really just kind of forgetting that you even went to the gym, you can just literally, whenever you feel a little bit down, you can think like about the time when you had an amazing workout, or the amount of times you've gone to the gym, or how many times you've done martial arts, or you've done your work even though you didn't want to. And it also helps your self-image, because it makes you think, oh, I am this disciplined guy who goes to the gym, who goes to martial arts even though he doesn't want to, or doesn't work even though he doesn't want to. So it just gives you that self-image boost. There are many things you can do to like boost your confidence, for example, going to the gym or martial arts, but that's like kind of big stuff. Like obviously you should be doing them anyway. In my opinion, I think they're very, very effective and very, very useful. But one of the best things that you could do literally today to have like an instant confidence boost, it literally just start reading a book and learning stuff. When you learn, you almost just feel better because you know more knowledge and ways you can improve and ways you can help other people. And for some reason that just, or at least for me, it makes me feel more confident, just more in control of my life in a way. Like I understand why certain things happen. I understand why, for example, my teacher will be angry at me in a certain way and how I can de-escalate it so I do get out of detention, and I can get out of detention because I read How to Influence and Influence People, because I've done that so many times. And yeah, this mindset that I just told you is very similar to the thing that I'm about to tell you. This almost tactic that during year 9 I used so much, and it literally made achieving any goal that I wanted so much easier than if I didn't do this one certain tactic. I remember it was a morning before school and I was doing my normal morning routine. I woke up, I did my shower, I did my work, and then I decided to do my actual morning routine, which is like meditation, gratitude, and then I decided to add something new, visualizations. I'm not gonna lie to you, at that time, my visualization weren't really that good, so they weren't really working for me. But I decided to just try them anyway to see if it works, it works. If it doesn't, I'm just gonna quit. So I decided to close my eyes and start visualizing. And I thought to myself, oh, I'm gonna speak to this girl. I'm gonna walk into class. I'm gonna be so confident. It's gonna be so fun. I'm gonna speak to this other girl. I'm gonna speak to this other girl. It's gonna be so nice. I'm gonna smile at them. I was just visualizing in my mind. I visualized it so vividly that it almost felt like a reality. So when I opened my eyes, it kind of felt a little bit weird. I had this excitement in my chest. And I went to school that day, and I'm not gonna lie to you, nothing really happened until lunchtime, where everything that I visualized actually happened in real life. I spoke to the girl that I was visualizing, I spoke to this other girl that I was visualizing, and on the last lesson of school, I was actually being really, really confident. The reason why picturing literally an image or just a movie in your mind is so effective is because visualization set an intention for your subconscious mind, and you almost live in your subconscious mind 80% of the time during your day. So if you have like a certain goal that your subconscious mind is going to achieve, then 80% of your day is just going to go towards it without you even having to try that hard, just by planting that seed in your mind through visualizations. So looking back at everything we've learned so far, I'm not going to be like those classic YouTubers you see where they give you like a list of 50 things you can do, or not even that, they give you like 3 things you can do, and then don't, like, you just kind of forget after you watch them, and then you kind of never apply and never really learn. So how about we use visualizations to actually remember what we just like learned? So let's visualize together. But before I do, I want to give you like a few tips to actually make visualizations good, because I used to struggle with visualization so much and I didn't really get any of the benefits, and I used to kind of just wonder why I was even doing them. And the reason I wasn't really getting any of the benefits was because I was doing them wrong. So I was just kind of really wasting my time. And I don't want that for you, so I'm just going to give you 2 simple tips that just make visualization so much more effective. The first one is actually just visualize vividly, because if you don't visualize vividly, you almost kind of just see it vaguely in your mind. Your mind is not really going to think it was a real experience, so therefore it's not going to really believe it, and it's just not going to work at all. The way you make it vivid is by adding the 5 senses. The way you know anything is real is through your 5 senses. The way I know this book is real because I can see it, I can touch it, and that's about it. If I can't see it, touch it, smell it, hear it, I think those are the 5 senses, then it's not going to be real for me. So you can literally recreate all those 5 senses in your mind. That's why visualization works so well. When you do that, you also create emotion, and emotion creates the winner effect, which is that kind of excitement in your chest, and that's when you know you actually have like a goal in mind. That's when you know it actually worked. You have almost that excitement in your chest. Another small thing you can do is just take a little deep breath and almost feel happy inside. This is what the book Psycho-Cybernetics talks about having up there. And it talks about almost feeling happy inside. Now let's visualize together. Imagine you're at school or in your kitchen and you see one of your family members or your friends, and when you walk up to them, you smile at them and they smile at you back. It's thinking that, oh, this guy's being positive, and you actually feel good that they're smiling at you, and then you have a nice conversation with them. Now imagine you're hanging out with your family or your friends again, but this time one of your friends or one of your family members says something that makes the whole group start laughing. So you almost pick up on that thing subconsciously now that you know to copy other people. And when you say it with your little twist in it, so it isn't just like 100% of a copy, everybody starts laughing, and you feel good about the fact that you actually learned something, you applied it into your life, and it actually worked. And you almost feel that excitement knowing that you're going to be able to use this for the rest of your life, knowing that you're going to improve your charisma every single day because you're learning from other people. Now imagine it's 6 a.m. and you've just woken up and the sun is barely rising, and you literally get up and you do some work on your business, or you do a workout, or you start reading for an hour. And after you finish, you close the tab, you close the book, or you finish taking a shower after working out, and you feel so much more confident, and you feel so much more confident during the day knowing that you actually did something. You're gonna feel good knowing that you're making some progress in actual good areas of life before anyone has even woken up. You're gonna carry out that confidence throughout the day. Now I know that visualization was kind of fast, but if you really did use your 5 senses and you took that deep breath and kind of felt good inside of you, you will almost have a smile on your face, because if you visualize that correctly, your mind wouldn't have been able to tell that from real life, so therefore you will almost have this smile on your face feeling good. And if you didn't, it would be probably beneficial for you to go back, not even like watch the video. You can just almost visualize on your own, having that mental framework of, oh yeah, smile at people, copy successful people, do something that actually makes you feel confident, and just visualizations. If you don't have that excitement in your chest or smile on your face, then I'm telling you, you're gonna benefit so much more from literally just visualizing. Probably be one of the most valuable tactics that I've learned that so many successful entrepreneurs do. For example, Hamza Ahmed, Iman Gadzi, and if they're doing it, we should probably be doing them to get the same success as they have. And just as a tiny little lesson at the end, because I remember every single time that I did visualizations wrong, I didn't have that excitement or that smile on my face. When I did do them correctly, I had that excitement and that smile in my face. Because if you don't have that smile or that excitement in your chest, then it just means that your mind didn't really believe it, and therefore you just kind of wasted your time. And with all that said, I'm grateful that you were able to actually watch this whole video in full and actually learn and actually improve your life. This is literally something you can think about in the future. Think of like, oh, watching this long form video that actually is going to help me in the future, instead of me just watching like any short form content. I'm grateful that you were actually able to spend your time productively with me. Good luck and bye.